Hey guys, welcome to the UFC Breakdown. I'm Spanky. Bork wasn't able to join us today, but I'm going to be breaking down UFC 119, MIR versus CRO COP. Let's jump into it. I'm just going to be doing the fights that we predicted, not all the fights we saw, to see how all the fights finished. You can go to our main page and go to the website. Start off with Matt Mitrione versus Joey Beltran. Matt Mitrione defeated him. They got a unanimous decision. Overall, exciting fight. Technical? Hell no. They just went in there and banged. I gotta say, I was surprised by Joey Beltran's efforts at constantly pushing forward. Mitrione really needs to stop fighting with his chin up because Beltran clipped him a few times, and I feel like if he fights a top-level striker, Mitrione's probably gonna get knocked out just because of the fact that he fights. He's like that. I don't know. Just generally not smart. Beltran pushed the action. Mitrione was getting the better of a few exchanges. They slugged it out. I don't know how to really break it down because of the fact that they just went in there and slung fists for 15 minutes. Super exciting. There was 2 fight of the night tonight. That was one of them. It was a great fight. Matt Mitrione also fired his manager at the end, which was exciting. Moving on to the next fight, we got CB Dalloway. He defeated Joe Dirksen in the first round by submission. I did not see it going like this for the simple fact that Dirksen's kind of known for his submission game to an extent, and Dalloway was the aggressor, got a hold of that neck. It was stated as a guillotine, even though I'm not sure I would call it that. Whatever it was sick. They did like a barrel roll. He held on. It was really deep. I was extremely impressed by it. CB Dalloway got submission of the night for that. Not much to recap on that because that's kind of how the fight went. The submission was put in, barrel roll, end of the fight. It was good though, very exciting. Then we're moving on to Melvin Guillard versus Jeremy Stephens. Melvin Guillard ended up taking this by split decision. It was a relatively close fight. Not as exciting as I thought it was going to be for all the pre-fight shit talking, considering they wanted to fight each other so much with Melvin calling Stephens out. I think Melvin looked lighter on his feet, but I feel like Stephens was the one that was looking to finish. Obviously, it didn't happen. Do I think it was a good fight? No. Have I seen worse? Yes. It was just one of those fights. Melvin Guillard, like I said, didn't really utilize his wrestling like I think he should have if he wanted to put on dominant performance. Lackluster, to say the most. I'm going to move on to an extremely exciting fight. Sean Sherk defeated Evan Dunham by split decision. Split decision for a reason. It could have gone either way. It was a toss-up. Sean Sherk, even though he's been out for so long, pretty much looking like the old Sean Sherk, picking people up, slamming them, no cardio issues. Hit Dunham one time with a good elbow, busted him. It was a deep cut. If you haven't seen this fight, you need to. It's amazing. I did not know that Dunham's submissions were so dangerous. He constantly goes for submissions, non-stop, the whole time. It was extremely exciting. I thought he was going to end Sherk 3 or 4 times with the submissions that he had locked in there. But Sherk's short neck, he kept pulling out of it somehow. Prior to this fight, no one had ever taken Sherk's back. Dunham did this. Dunham lost a tough fight, but even though Dunham lost, I don't feel as though it's a setback for him at all, considering the fact that he did extremely well against a former champion and extremely well-respected fighter in Sean Sherk. We're going to move on to the Chris Lytle versus Matt Serra. Chris Lytle defeated Matt Serra by a unanimous decision. I don't think it was wise for Matt Serra to stand the whole time with Chris Lytle. Chris Lytle used his range, I think, more than anything, and just overall better boxing skills to keep the fight at bay. Other than that, not too much happened except for, again, 15 minutes of stand-up fight. It was exciting. Was it the most technical? Probably not. Much more than Mitrione's, but overall it was a good fight. Chris Lytle was well welcomed by his hometown crowd. It was extremely exciting on the feet. I'm kind of bummed we didn't see some ground game because Lytle's got extremely underrated ground game. Serra's known for his, It would have been nice to see something on the ground because I am a fan of ground fighting as well as stand-up. But I cannot complain. Great fight. Chris Lytle definitely deserves this. Hopefully he gets a step up in competition. I know he's mentioned that he would like to fight Thiago Alves. There's so many Thiagos, almost messed that up. But Thiago Alves, who he had lost to previously. One of the co-main event, Ryan Bader took on Little Nogueira. It was decent, but thus far in the fight card was so exciting, especially the prelims, and then you have the stand-up war between Lytle and Sarah and Shirk and Dunham. Bader kind of gassed in the later rounds, but in the first round looked very slick. Nogueira's boxing, like everyone expected, was a little more crisp, but Bader didn't let it do too much to him. Bader did touch on the ground for not too long, but when he was down there, he avoided submissions, which I was surprised. You saw Nogueira going for wrist control a few times, but Bader just strong and generally, I would say, too smart for that, for the simple fact that even though he's a wrestler, he's obviously training jiu-jitsu, or at least he should be if he's not, which I think he is. Beside the point, Bader defeated Nogueira by unanimous decision. I think this is another close one. It could have gone either way. I see how Bader won for the simple fact with the takedowns. I think the judging's messed up, though, for the simple fact that in the later rounds, primarily late second and all of the third, Bader would try to go for a takedown. And Nogueira would stuff him, which I found extremely surprising. But Bader kind of gassed. I think he has to work on that. But it was a good win for him. Definitely the biggest name of his career. That's kind of cool. I know the winner of this fight was supposed to be fighting John Jones. Hopefully he does fight John Jones. I think that'd be exciting. I think Bader would lose, but it would be exciting just to see two high caliber wrestlers as they are. Even though John Jones doesn't use it, though they don't use their wrestling the same way. But it would be an interesting fight to see where Bader really is, because even though he beat Little Nog, he didn't mash him. He didn't end him, which it's hard to do. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the main event. This fight card was amazing, let me say first, overall, but this main event kind of ruined it for me because I was so pumped up about how all the fights have gone. Exciting. No one's really holding back except for maybe the Gillard-Stevens fight. Frank Mir comes in, CRO COP comes in. They kind of meet up in the first round. A little bit of feeling each other out. Mir grabs a hold of CRO COP, kind of works him to the cage, and kind of stalls him there. Went for a couple takedowns, but CRO COP did a good job defending. Second round, same thing. Mir kind of brought him to the cage, kind of stalled him there again. CRO COP did a great job stuffing the takedown, but he wasn't really going after it like CRO COP of old, like I would have liked to see. But I'm really surprised Mir couldn't get it to the ground. I'm surprised that CRO COP came in lighter than normal too, as did Mir compared to his last fight. But Mir, I feel like if he would have got to the ground, would have dominated, and I don't see how he didn't get it there. So big props to CRO COP for keeping it on the feet. But overall, it was an extremely boring fight. They stayed on the cage 90% of the fight. It was the same thing as some of the wrestlers do now when they're on the ground, how they get it there and then they stall. Mir kind of did this with the cage. Then in the third round, Mir was kind of doing the same thing. CRO COP got double unhooks in about the middle of the... Well, he had double unhooks most of the fight, but in the third round, he got double unhooks and kind of reversed it a little bit and kind of stepped back. And as he stepped back, it almost looked like he was going to explode. And as he did, Mir kind of drew his head, like CRO COP's head, and threw a knee and caught CRO COP right in the chin and dropped him, knocking him out in the third and final round. Kind of disappointed to see Mir win. I thought he would. Not the way I thought he was going to win, but the main event might have been the least impressive out of all the fights. I will say I called the knockout. I watched it with a bunch of friends. I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? This fight's been kind of boring, but if it was a flash KO, I think I'd feel okay about it. And as soon as I said that, Mir knocked out CRO COP. But I'm going to wrap this up now. Overall, I would say it was a good fight card, but I just wish the main event would have been a little bit better. Hopefully, UFC 120 does its job. All right. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe.